In all my travels into Tennessee over 7 or 8 years on the streets of America, I never made it to East Tennessee. I always went to Memphis or to Nashville. All I went to in Tennessee. In 21, bored with both Nashville and Memphis, I thought I would come and check out other popular cities in Tennessee that I had never been to, never really cared to go to, but hey, I still didn't have a home. I couldn't afford a car, so what the hell? In 21, I came to East Tennessee. I must tell you, there's a reason why East Tennessee is labeled East Tennessee as opposed to the rest of the state. I wasn't in Knoxville long before I discovered kudzu. It's a vine that grows everywhere in East Tennessee. It is an invasive vine brought over from some Asian country years ago, and it has just, spread itself all over East Tennessee. Another thing I noticed about East Tennesseans, particularly Knoxville, was that the guys here, the characters in the homeless shelter, the homeless men, they all looked and dressed like Rip Van Winkle. And I couldn't, I had never seen that, not only in Tennessee, but in the rest of the country. You had your Santa Clauses, you had your Elvis Presleys, you had your Uncle Ben, you had your Aunt Jemima, but never did I see on the street guys dressed as Rip Van Winkle. Also, in my travels across the Badlands, I don't know if you heard those bikes or not, but hope they're mountain bikes. Another thing I noticed about East Tennesseans, all over, was that they don't have mountains here as much as they have cliffs and ridges. Ridges. I mean, when I went to Chattanooga, one of the famous sites in Chattanooga is the Outlook, I think it's called. And it literally is that. It is the top of a huge mountain cliff, and you can look out at 4 states. That's how high and prominent the Outlook in Chattanooga is. Here in Knoxville, I spent close to a year at Fort Dickerson Park off of Chapman. That too is more a ridge or a cliff. The Civil War site was built overlooking the city of Knoxville. So cliffs are important. And here is another cliff outside of Knoxville. It is called Sharp's Ridge. And I thought it apropos this this November day to revisit Sharp's Ridge. I was here about 2 years ago. And just fell in love with it. It's named after the family that lived atop of the mountain there, ridge there, outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Now it's been about 2 years. And you would think this hike would be super easy for this guy after he has had 2 years inside permanent housing. With a bed, kitchen, bathroom. But oh no. My doctor told me that since I've been blessed with housing and I've been off the street, I've gained 60 pounds in the past 2 years. And I will tell you, it's not from driving my car too much or sitting on my couch, sheltering in place, but by swallowing my aggression towards the women of Knoxville. Who, since the day I rolled into town, have served no other purpose than to have me like a Rip Van Winkle running for the freaking hills. All right, at the trailhead now. See, Sharp's Ridge Veterans Memorial Park. All right, there's the map. So by veterans, I don't know if they mean you live here for a while or you're new to the area, just moved here from the streets or what. But I will tell you, that unlike other parks and trails and hikes that I've had here around Knoxville, the trail up the ridge is pretty dull. It's pretty boring. It's pretty uneventful. There's very little to see. Regardless of the trail you take, all the trails eventually wind to the top of the ridge. So there's no payoff, as I call it, no cookie along the way. Oh, they put in benches. Ah, how far up? There's really nothing to see. There's no real gift outside of hiking up to the ridge. That's about a mile up. There's nothing to occupy the senses, especially the eyes or the camera. It's just a monotonous hike up along a dirt path. The payoff, and this is what I love about this Sharp Ridge Veterans Memorial Park, is the payoff and the cookies are at the top of the ridge. And I must tell you, out of all the hikes I've done around Knoxville, there is no greater payoff, as Rip Van Winkle himself would say, than getting all the way up, as far away from the neighbors as you can. The payoff at the top there is in spades, and it's worth the hike, though monotonous it may be. And more so for this fat old natty daddy who's gotten too comfortable with comfort food in the past 2 years. But we'll see. I'm eager to show you. The top of Sharp's Ridge. The highlight of this Veterans Memorial Park here outside of Knoxville. Stay tuned.